Here's a clip from a new interview of Obama.
Are aliens real?
Uh, they're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area
Area
51?
51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the president of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
A big grin at the end of that one. Yeah, we'll talk about Duper's Delight in this video, but what a ridiculous clip. I mean, there's a lot going on there. Do you really think that's like the first question a president gets power, gets sworn in, and who would they ask? Oh, who? Tell me if aliens are real or not. Because even the fact that a president could ask that to somebody, doesn't that already imply that there is some sort of conspiracy where there's people above even the president who know things and can divulge information or hold back? Like, who does the president ask? All right, guys, I'm president now. Now you can tell me. Who are they asking that question to? Because then does that person not have authority or access higher than even the president? So just the concept of a president being able to ask somebody, that's already a weird thing. But then there's some mocking there. Oh, well, only if there's this big conspiracy out there. Yeah, there is a big conspiracy out there, and outer space is one of the biggest ones. They've sold everybody a false narrative about where you are and what's around us, and it is a part of, in my opinion, the Bible talks about satanic deception. The Bible talks about how there will be a whole system of deception, that an enormous amount of people will be under this veil of deception. And maybe it'll be worth in the future finding those. There's exact verses that talk about how Satan has everybody under this deception. And yeah, outer space is a big one. There's a reason that cartoon globes are all over the place all throughout your elementary school years. You can even, once you wake up to it, you can really spot the shills, because they'll be shouting out planet, planet, when most people wouldn't. Like, at your school, you want to spot a Freemason shill who knows about all this stuff. They'll be the one that, it's like an award ceremony, and they'll introduce, oh, here comes Kylie, the smartest little girl on the planet. Like, why does your mind go there to talking about planet in random scenarios that, in my opinion, most people don't think of using the word? Anyways, they do all this stuff to keep your mind in that place of deception. If they can trigger your memory with enough ball earth imagery, or bring up the word planet enough, or come up with enough idioms about, oh, you know, the world doesn't revolve around you, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They build this stuff into the very fabric of society. Oh, you're so large, you have your own gravitational pull. There's a million out there. And they do this stuff just to keep that illusion alive. They got to keep it going. Because if we just lived our normal life and nobody was like shouting at us about outer space stuff, nobody interacts with outer space. Nobody goes to outer space. Nobody here can go and see what a star is really. And so one of the tricks of keeping that illusion going is to just talk about it way too much. And yeah, is that really what is like the biggest thing? And Obama just says aliens do exist. Demons are real, and the heavens are real, and who knows what's going on up there, but it's actually like the nursery rhyme, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. We don't really know exactly what's up there. It's beyond the firmament, and in the end, the sky is going to open up like a scroll, Book of Isaiah, and Jesus is going to descend in the clouds of heaven. So in my opinion, that means that, like, you know how we have weather up here, or, you know, down here maybe on earth? There's weather up there. In my mind, when they say that Jesus descends in the clouds of heaven, it's like the firmament opens up and there's like another layer of clouds up there because it's a whole nother layer of atmosphere up there in your own conditions and all that. Cool. Was that enough rambling? Let's get through all my slides. That stupid Obama thing, though, just made me want to look at what's going on with outer space these days, and I'm sure I'll have plenty to blab about. I see a prominent 7 in this image. I mean, is this even supposed to be real life? Those solar panels just look 100% CGI, and who knows what's AI created these days, what's just CGI, is this supposed to be a real photo? Most times they don't tell you these days. The SpaceX Dragon, we'll talk about that in a bit, carrying 4 Crew 12 members, nears the International Space Station for a docking to the Harmony module's space-facing port. NASA astronauts Jessica and Jack and other people, whatever, they docked with the orbiting complex at 3:15. After Dragon linked up to the space-facing port of the station's Harmony module, the crew aboard Dragon and the station began standard leak checks and pressurization between the spacecraft and the station in preparation for hatch opening. You see all the play on words happening here. Dragon, the fact it's called Dragon, and then hatch, like an egg, like a dragon egg might hatch, and hatch opening, meaning the same thing, kind of hinting at that the hatch is actually referring to the dragon hatching. We'll see how much of this stuff I read out. Revelation chapter 12. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. So what do you know? The book of Revelation, this is like a really cool part of the book of Revelation. Was it around 2017? I don't know. There were multiple times recently where people have been like, oh, look at this thing happening in the sky. That meets this Revelation 12. And it in my opinion, hearing people talk about that and giving their evidence, there does seem to be some truth to there being a, what do you want to call it, like zodiac type interpretation of this information. But what I just want to point out here is the dragon reference. The fact that the book of Revelation, when talking about end times and like important biblical, like when people say things of biblical proportions, it's like that in the book of Revelation. These are biblical, huge timeline changing events happening. We got dragons up in the heaven. And what do we have in the news right now? People talking about dragons in the heaven, dragon hatching in the heavens. And it has to do with Satan. So here, this is where it talks about the angels falling. Verse 4 from Revelation chapter 12, verse 4. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born. So this is a reference to a 1/3 of the fallen angels. You know how the celebrities, they think of themselves as stars. This is where this comes from. That Satan, the dragon, drew down a 1/3 of the stars of heaven, being these fallen angels, supposedly. Satan came down as a lightning bolt. These are just, who knows exactly how things happened, but this is the imagery and the symbolism that people today attach to. So this is talking about angels falling and casting to earth when Satan and the angels came down to earth and rebelled against God. And so that, in my opinion, that's why they're stars, Hollywood stars. They think of themselves as stars. I think it comes from this. Continuing on, Duper's Delight is going to be all over the place in NASA stuff. They are always having so much fun and getting a laugh at the expense of duping other people. If you don't know about this, when liars lie and they get away with something, or when a schemer is scheming and trying to pull one over on people, they can't help it but smile, get Duper's delight. I just saw another stupid Obama thing. Why is Obama in the news all over the place right now, or just being pushed on Reddit? It's not news, but there's this clip of Obama allegedly catching a pregnant woman who's fainting. Do you guys know that one? You can just see, first of all, you can see that people, before the lady even faints, you can tell that people are like looking at her like, oh, is this the time? Is she going to do the thing now? But they are smiling and holding in, you can see the larger lady next to the pregnant lady actually like bite her lip to stop herself from laughing. And you see this with the, what do you call it? The crisis actors. Duper's delight. When people are deceiving, they have an uncontrollable urge to smile, to laugh, to the point where they have to bite their lip or, bite their tongue. They do things sometimes, if they're better trained. NASA is just, they've jumped the shark at this point. They know that if you haven't figured it out by now, and they also just get off on making it bad. That's a thing that I don't think enough people mention, that like they don't even try. They don't even try to make it good or make sense or be reasonable, because they know they can get away with anything. They know that they don't have to look serious, even though this should be a very serious thing. They know that they don't have to look scared, because it should be a big, scary thing. But no, they know it's not scary. First of all, it's not scary. It's not dangerous. And a lot of times they're just taking a photo op and then, going hanging out on Epstein Island for a month while they're supposed to be on the ISS. More stuff about Mars, I guess. Who cares? I was just looking through the top news stories about NASA. But look at this headline, though. This is a headline from NASA. Dragon hatches open. Crew 12 could even be a 33 reference, because crew starts with C, which is 3. 12 reduces to 3, 33. But who knows? More Duper's delight and stupid bozos. Okay. How many of these people have Duper's delight going on? Most of them. Hanging upside down. They go in vomit comets. What do they call them? Anyways, they can go inside of an airplane. They go up and then down and then up and then down. And each time they probably get, 30 seconds of footage or something like that. Very lucky day. I guess something happened on Friday the 13th. Is that when this... I guess we're going to get to some specific articles, but the one that just docked, maybe they left on Friday the 13th. Somebody called it a lucky day, to be ironic, I guess. This was from a month ago. I think this is the last article that I have. I honestly haven't been really keeping up to date in the space thing, but Obama coming out and saying aliens are real. There's no basement at the Alamo, whatever. There's no basement at Area 51. I don't know what that's all about. And basically, they're going to have to talk about aliens. Big stuff is going to have to come up, talk about aliens, because that is clearly what end times. That would actually, I've been mentioning, like, excuse me, I've been mentioning going over the Book of Revelation. You know what's a really good topic about the Book of Revelation? And I've talked about it before, but some topics you can endlessly talk about. It doesn't stop being interesting. The way that the end times in the Book of Revelation perfectly matches with like a fake alien invasion. In my mind, this is just something where their system of deception, they've painted themselves into a corner. And if it's going to match with what the Book of Revelation says, they're going to be saying that like aliens are attacking us. We have to come together as a one world to go against these evil aliens. And then it can get more conspiracy, like Project Bluebeam. If you know about Project Bluebeam, it would make perfect sense. Well, now we have all sorts of drone armies too. Who knows the things that they could do with drones, with projectors in the sky. I don't know. This just came to my mind. Some of you, if you watch the whole airplanes spraying things out, maybe you've noticed that there's like a difference. Sometimes they're spraying up super, super, super high, and then sometimes they spray really low. So it's like, was that a real airplane, or is it like a drone that kind of looks, you know, like the types of drones that they bomb the Middle East up with, that they're using in Ukraine and all that? Do they just put a drone that is made to look like a big airplane up high, but it's really a kind of big airplane down low? And it seems like sometimes they're spraying with those things. Anyways, back onto this. I guess this is the other thing that's been in the news about NASA. And it's a little weird to me. Nothing really stood out as crazy, but I guess there was a sick astronaut, and it was NASA's first medical evacuation. That seems extreme to me. Just how good is NASA, you guys? They've never, in the whole history of NASA, they've never had to do any medical evacuation ever. That is just wild. They're so good. But the weird thing is that it's like they didn't even have to do it this time. So NASA, we're supposed to believe that NASA's just so perfect that they've never had to do a medical evacuation of any kind. They're just that good. But then the first time that they do it, it's like nothing was really happening. But that is, what do you guys think about that? Duper's Delight. I see Duper's Delight on 2 out of the 3, and the Dog the Bounty Hunter looking guy is like just doing a slightly better job, but you can sense it over there too. He's biting his lip. The other 2 didn't even try. An astronaut in need of doctor's care. Well, were they really? This is just a weird thing. Cape Canaveral Carnival. It's all bread and circus. They picked that name on purpose. This is just a carnival. It is just for entertainment purposes only. CC-33. An alien astronaut returned to Earth with 3 others on Thursday. More than a month early, in NASA's first medical evacuation. Crazy. And SpaceX did it, I guess. SpaceX guided the capsule. There will be a point about SpaceX later. Obviously, we took this action because it was a serious medical condition. The astronaut in question is fine right now, in good spirits, and going through the proper medical checks. Well, they're fine. So was it serious, or are they fine? If it was serious, why are they fine? It was an unexpected finish to a mission that began in August and left the orbiting lab with only 1 American and 2 Russians on board. There's a lot of 1-2s happening. I don't know, and 1-3s. People more into gematria, I'm sure that you could look through these and see what's going on, but a lot of times they really do, they're hiding some sort of information in all the seemingly random numbers that pop up. Who knows what they're really alluding to. While the astronaut was stable in orbit, NASA wanted them back on Earth as soon as possible to receive proper care and diagnostic testing. The entry and splashdown required no special changes or accommodations. Part of me, this just feels like one of those cognitive dissonance things where they get you to believe so many contradictory things, but then just believe it anyways. Is it serious? Is it not serious? Was he stable? Was he not stable? This is the first time NASA's doing a medical thing, but then why are they stable, and why were they even okay up there, but then they just wanted to take them for testing? But then if you just want to take them in for testing, is it a serious... See, it's like, why has NASA run the way that they have for ages, and we think of astronauts as these like modern day superheroes, but then they also just keep you in the dark? Why don't you tell us actually what's happening so that it's not just this jumbled mess of contradictory information? Well, it's because they're the special ones that get to know stuff, and we don't get to know stuff. Honestly, this is what working jobs is like a lot. Who's getting like mad? For me, it's flashbacks because I quit my job, but this reminds me of working for a university where like stuff happens and people give these political stupid responses that just make you more annoyed than anything, but you're just left in the dark about the important stuff. It's just a stupid power play that people play. The astronauts emerged from the capsule 1 by 1 within an hour of splashdown. They were helped onto reclining cots and then whisked away for standard medical checks, waving to the cameras. Okay. NASA stressed repeatedly over the past week that this was not an emergency. Do you see the mixed messages, though? Can you make up your mind? The astronaut fell sick or was injured on January 7th, prompting NASA to call off the next day's spacewalk, and ultimately resulting in the early return. You know, there's supposed to be millions or billions of dollars tied up in these things. In the past, I would assume, so assuming everything is true about NASA, which of course I don't believe, in the past, if somebody just fell a little ill, I'm assume that they would just treat them up there because, well, if it's not an immediate danger and if we're just testing things out, I assume that they would just try to keep you okay up there until you were supposed to come back anyways, to not waste all these things. But, you know, maybe stories like this, they could just be setting a precedent. And who knows what the precedent here is? Could just be a more frequent. It could be trying to push SpaceX as a necessity. Well, we need to be able to just bring people up and down. It can't be like a we gotta wait months sort of thing. I'm just throwing out ideas. Maybe this is leading the way to more frequent up, down, up, down. Oh, you forgot your wallet? Well, let's just go back down really quick and go grab it. Kind of thing. It was the first time NASA cut short a space flight for medical reasons. The Russians had done so decades ago, apparently. Spacewalk preparations did not lead to the medical situation. It would be very premature to draw any conclusions or close any doors at this point. It was unknown whether the same thing... They're literally, like, telling us nothing. Thanks, guys. This has the same energy as when there's the big leaks and all the juicy bits are redacted. We don't deserve real information. We have no, we don't get to pick and choose what we're told. They just hand feed us, spoon feed us, really. And we're not adults. We don't deserve to just know the truth. We can't handle the truth. The space station has gotten by with 3 astronauts before, sometimes even with just 2. All these 3s and 2s and what, like, who talks like this? Why not just say that the space station has, in this year, only 2 astronauts were on the space station? Who talks with 3? Sometimes even with just 2. It just seems weird to me to talk like this, unless you're trying to do a 3-2 for some reason. NASA said it will be unable to perform a spacewalk even for an emergency until the arrival of the next crew, which has 2 Americans, 1 French, and 1 Russian. I'm just going to read through these and I'll say something if it's... Moonshot is a weird word. First moonshot in more than half century. The moon rock. It's just so dumb. This stuff is also dumb, childish. It's Santa Claus for adults. Moon fly around. Okay. That's still one of the worst things out of NASA is the gif of them showing us the dark side of the moon. Okay, the moon, use your eyeballs, go out at night and ask yourself, do you really believe that the moon that I'm looking at is like a rock really far away? It's just not. The moon, you can use your eyes and you can look at the moon and you can know, hey, this isn't like a faraway rock that I'm looking at. This is a light in the sky. And another thing about the moon, it's so bright. These days it's so bright, which is fulfilling Isaiah prophecy. There's Isaiah prophecy that says in the end, the moon will be brighter, the sun will be brighter. There's all sorts of end times prophecy that talks about these things going dark. And in my mind, that matches up with, well, you go brighter, and then it's like you bust a fuse, and it goes dark for a while. There's all sorts of stuff in the media about Bill Gates wanting to block out the sun. There's all sorts of alien stories about aliens blocking out suns, Dyson sphere type things. It's because they know that is going to happen. When you know that that's going to happen, then you can become a prophet by just saying these things. Bill Gates wants to block out the sun. One day the sun literally will go dark, and then somebody will have some explanation that gets chosen as being the right explanation. But it's just biblical prophecy being fulfilled. Days being shorter is biblical prophecy, and NASA will tell you, the earth is spinning faster. Okay. I think I've probably said enough. I don't know that I have anything else to say. Those NASA astronauts were literally brought back to Earth by SpaceX. Those are SpaceX suits that they're wearing. So here, I'm going to end with this thought, because Elon, whatever, the Musk guy is one of those specific instances of cognitive dissonance. On one hand, we're supposed to believe that this guy is like the best at rocket ships, but then on the other hand, he's obviously really stupid and like Trump-like in his antics and in his nonsense. How could somebody so ridiculous be in charge of going to outer space and coming back down? NASA in the 60s and 70s was a lot better about actually making it seem serious and actually making it seem like you have smart professionals in charge of everything. They used to do a lot better of a job at that aspect. But with this guy, it's just a joke. Like, you're telling me that the person that's better than NASA at getting people down from the space station is the same guy that makes the Cybertruck. And that's where you really see the cognitive dissonance. The world has had plenty of fun making fun of the Cybertruck and his stupid tunnel idea. Oh, what's better than traffic? I'm going to build a tunnel underground. Like, all of these things, it's humiliation rituals for his character, but it's also just building that cognitive dissonance into the story. On one hand, we're supposed to believe that this guy is the best at going to outer space, to the point where the US government is using him to like save people. And on the other hand, we're supposed to believe that he's building tunnels to try to get away from traffic, and building one-lane tunnels to solve traffic, and builds one of the ugliest, crappiest cars. It's like a Roblox car. So that's where you get that cognitive dissonance just built into the character. They can't both be true. Do people really believe that the same guy that built the Cybertruck is like saving astronauts from outer space and doing those amazing CGI rocket coming back and landing where it literally just looks like reversed footage? And been so exposed for the Tesla in outer space, like that thing has been so exposed, but it just people keep pretending it's real. Well, that's it for this video. God bless everyone.